So I wanted to spend some time, a little bit more today, talking to you about the Domain Show, our industry's first online trade show and conference, coming this June 2020. And I wanted to just kind of go over a little bit slower than my original introduction some of the things that happen when you want to go to a trade show. Now, I'm always going to go to NamesCon. I'm always going to go to as many live trade shows as I can go to. But we're talking about something a little different here, which you can do with a virtual trade show. We think we can attract more people because of the lack of the restrictions of having to travel, having to spend the money to go, having to take time away. We think we can, in fact, have more sponsors and presenters and panels because people don't always have to fit their schedule in there. They can, wherever they are in the world, they can do their presentation. They can do their interaction with other panelists on a stage, kind of a virtual stage. The other thing you're going to get is a lot of the presenters can have different people from their company participate in different sessions. So rather than one person having to cover a lot of areas, we have some companies that'll present tours of their companies. So you can get an idea of the company culture that you're working with. Maybe meet some of the support people that you work with over and over and over again, but they don't always make it to the conferences. But I wanted to go through some of the advantages of having an online conference. And when I think about it, I look at the stack of stuff I came back with from the last conference. And one of the biggest things I've been trying to address as I've thought about this over the past 4 or 5 years is we all love going to the conference and we look at these great agendas like at NamesCon. You look at these great sessions, and if you're like me, you always come back and you say, man, I wish I could have gone to that session. I wish I could have gone to that session. But I struck up a conversation with somebody. We kept going. Someone else joined us. We hit on some great topics, and it was just hard to get back there. And I know when I presented at conferences, I put a lot of work into the presentations, a lot of thought, come to a lot of conclusions. And I've always appreciated the other speakers that have done that too. So what we give you in the virtual conference is we don't have a time constraint where you have to pick between building relationships or having private meetings and gathering the information. Because as much as some people will say that they go to the conferences to have discussions and build relationships and stuff, which I still want you to do, sometimes you're missing out on learning things, being exposed to things you don't already know. And there's a large group of attendees at the conference that are there at the sessions, ready to go in the first 3 rows with their notepad. They're gathering information, trying to be a better manager of their domain name, trying to be a better investor in domain names, or they're in the domain name industry. They're trying to see what other people are doing or gather new information. One of the things at the last trade show in our industry, we had a panel on the cryptocurrency domains. Now, everyone's going to say, yeah, I looked into that, or yeah, I like it, or yeah, I don't like it. But by sitting there and watching those 4 or 5 companies present, I learned quite a bit. So we'd like to offer you that opportunity with the Domain Show. You can sign up right now to get a free ticket to watch the live show in June over 2 days. And what you'll be missing out on are some of the unfun parts of the domain conference. Now, it used to be you got to the domain conference and you got a lot of swag. I've got my old swag here. This was a Sadu pin from way back in the day. Uniregistry used to give out this great box of stuff. You got the sticker, and you got the XYZ thing, and you got I guess that's XYZ, but a Uniregistry. I became more popular with my kids when I came back with these cool shirts that you used to get. This is the Uniregistry shirt, kind of trendy, thin material. My daughters love them. They always ask me to bring them back. But this is my number one swag that I've ever gotten at a trade show. I think it was at a raffle for one of them. I have the Sea-Doo sports car. So there you go. You get on the Sea-Doo sports car, you get the remote control thing, and you have it run all over the place. And so they don't really give that much stuff out anymore, like when you sign up for the conferences. So what we're going to do is we're going to have kind of a welcome pack that comes in an email to you the first day of the show that gives you the ability to maybe not get a shirt, but to sign up for discounts and free stuff, maybe free names and free other stuff from some of the companies that are sponsoring. So you're going to get that too. But when you think about a conference, one of the first things you think about is Well, I got to meet a lot of people. So I came back with a bunch of business cards. So I probably came back with 25 business cards. I've gotten as many as 50 or 75 from different shows. And we think with the ability to expand our audience globally to a lot of the companies and a lot of the investors that are investing globally, we're going to give you the ability to engage and start up relationships that you can manage through our online conference software with other people, maybe 50 people, 100 people, or 200 people. So if you're trying to learn more about domaining, you're going to be able to meet more domainers at the online domain show, at the domain show, our online video conference. And if you're a company that's presenting, we think we can give you a chance from your office. If you're a business development or the CEO of your company, we think we can let you communicate to 1 to 2 to 5 to 10 times as many people as come to a real in-person conference with the domain show. And then what you don't have is you don't have the expense of paying for the hotel. You got to pay for 3 or 4 meals a day. If you're a presenter, you got to get there a day early. You got to lug all your display stuff there, get it all set up, stay a day late. You always seem to be catching up on work at the office, trying to do it remotely, don't have time to do both. And what we think we can give you is if you're an attendee of the trade show, you can do it on your own schedule, watch it live, take your notes, you know what I mean? And maybe because you're not taking your thing of notes from a live show, throwing it in your suitcase, and maybe never even getting it out, you're going to be more willing to take action on what you see and hear at the domain show. And then the other thing, these are my kids. These are my kids from back in the day when I started going to shows back in '06 and '07. And boy, it was tough to leave those kids. And all these other single domain investors were out there staying out to the wee hours. And so now it's kind of interesting that I have a little bit of gray hair and I see some of those attendees that were single at the beginning. Now they may understand what it's like to leave your kids and your family. So you get to sleep in your own bed. You don't have all the expense of travel. And at least for taking in knowledge and information, you're going to be able to do that at the domain show. But the other thing we're really trying to do is because we're not limited to only getting certain people because they could travel on that certain date. We really want to be able on some of the panels to say what's happening now, what's going on now, and have the panel contribute and collaborate on coming to and identify some problems that need solved, go over some solutions, and then allow the community alongside the presentation to submit questions. So what we're going to be able to do is have a longer question and answer period in many cases than you have at the show, because a lot of times you have to get the question and answers off to have the next segment. But what we're doing with our software is you can actually continue a segment, even though another segment may be starting, you can continue to ask questions, or you can contribute your questions in the chat window alongside the video conference, and then those can be answered the next day or 2 days later or 3 days later. So we think we give you a better chance to have your question answered, whether you want it to be answered just directly to yourself, or whether you want to have the question and answer be presented to everybody else. We think presenters have an extra chance to connect with more people that maybe they had to run somewhere, but they really wanted to talk to them or meet them and ask a good question. So we've got a lot of opportunities. The other thing we can do is we can translate or provide text at the bottom for different presenters, and we'll be able to present some of the shows, some of the segments in as many languages as we can. So it's a whole new world of video meetings, virtual conference, whatever you want to call it. We're calling ours the domain show. So in many cases, a lot of industries have had the auto show, the car show, the machine show, the aftermarket show. So this is the domain show. And we want to create it as an event that at one time, we hope to have different things come out of it where companies were able to launch products there. Different people were able to show tips and hints on how to do it. So our audience is if you've got a domain name and you want to manage it better or more fully understand what you have, some of the legal aspects of it, how you can get more domain names, how you might be able to build something on it, how you might be able to protect your ownership in it. So if you own a domain name, we're going to have sessions for you. If you're a domain name investor, we're going to have sessions to give you hints and tips from companies that offer products and services, as well as other domainers, showing you how they do certain things and collaborating in some fun games and contests. And then lastly, if you're in the domain industry and you want to get a sense of what's going on, what other companies are doing when they're innovating, I think you're going to have a chance from your own desk in your own office to be able to stay up to date on what's going on. So we're excited. I'm excited to bring you the domain show this June. I hope you'll sign up, and anyone interested in presenting or sponsoring, contact me at page@thedomainshow.com. Again, sign up now, and the fee for the show is going to be $99 to watch it live for 2 days. Right now, until April 6th, you can sign up for free and attend the live portion of the show for free. So thanks a lot. Bye bye.